Okay, so like we have to discuss about a topic that says that the Nazis were the only ones who were responsible for the Holocaust, and I totally agree with it. And you,
I don't exactly completely agree with it.
so what are your reasons that you oppose to this thought?
It's not going to pick you up that you're just too quiet.
All right. So yeah, I know Hitler did everything, but another like a factor that contributed to Holocaust, the event Holocaust, was that, for example, like France and Britain, like those are only two of the other European countries that did know about the Holocaust, but just stood by and didn't do anything. I mean, Holocaust was first a secret, kind of, until I was found out, but the Europeans kind of turned their back to it. You know, they were kind of like, oh, it's their problem, whatever, and they just left it. So if they actually stopped the Germans or did something about it, I'm sure something would be done, like whether it's like a decrease in death toll or something like that.
Well, I think that the reasons that other countries weren't able to help was that it wasn't because I think that Hitler and the Nazis as a whole, they were like the first, they were the starting point to all of it. So I think the person who starts it, and they killed 11 million people, and then they weren't only Jews but other gypsies or like disabilities or homosexuals. So I think the Nazis, first off, they're really sadistic and they're really mad. Hitler was psychologically unstable, so I don't think that there would be any reason that would be justified for to say that they didn't, like, other people were involved, but like mainly it was just the Nazis. Like, since they were starting, I think that.
So you're saying that they couldn't stop Hitler because he was like weird mentally?
Yeah, and also because like really even though they were a bit involved, they weren't as like mainly they didn't kill as much as the Nazis did, because just 11 million people isn't just a number that you can say, oh yeah, but still, but like really you can't blame that number to another person. Like, this whole particular movement caused everything.
But I also think, like, I also think the Allies are kind of in fault as well. Okay, doesn't this go off?
Yeah.
As well, because like first the Treaty of Versailles was very harsh on Germany at first. You know how they're telling them to pay a lot of money and give all their profits and all that. So Germany was pretty much broken down. You know, they were like in depression area. And I think that caused Hitler to persuade the people more to vote. Like, you know how people are vulnerable? They're more moved by the speeches, and like how Hitler tried to do with use propaganda to get himself elected and get him power in Germany. So I think if Allies weren't as harsh on them, then Germany would have kind of stayed the way they were, which is they were like really industrialized and everything. And when the industrialization was broken down, I think Hitler was it was more easy for Hitler to take over Germany when they were so vulnerable and like really
Well,
weak.
I say like there were many like reasons, many reasons that people thought why the Nazis or maybe even other countries were involved, but mainly there were reasons that the hatred of Jews was the biggest cause of the Holocaust, and really the reasons why they hated the Jews, I don't think it's really explainable. Like, there isn't any explanation necessary. For example, economically, they thought the Jews were rich because due to the occupations they had, like banks, they worked in banks, or like they had really good occupations. So that's why they were kind of jealous of them. And also another one is they were scapegoating for everything, like even the defeat of World War II or like communism. They believed that Jews were part of communism. And also they thought, since they were different from themselves, that was like another reason. And also they also tackled on the problem of racially, but really it doesn't make sense because anyone can become a Jew, like even despite their appearances. So like, and also while I was researching, I found out that Hitler, like he had a personal hatred towards the Jews, which was about like his past. But I mean, really, you can't involve your personal hatred, and you can't make like the Nazis to kill Jews for those kind of reasons. They're unacceptable.
But also found out that the Catholic Church was also in a blame for it, like the Catholic religious group of Germany. So I found out the Catholic Chancellor of Germany, Franz von Papen, I don't even know how to say his name, but he was a religious top guy basically. I'm not gonna explain it, it's just complicated. But so basically he helped Hitler become powerful because when Hitler published like the Nazi group SS, you know how he created the Nazi group. He figured he could gain power from joining Nazi group because he failed to like gain wealth from like being a religious person.
So yeah, are you saying that like individual leaders, part of the Nazis, were also responsible for the Holocaust?
Basically,
Yeah.
obviously, and he also helped them.
Yeah. So, and did you also mention about that the German citizens were also blamed, are also to be blamed? Did you mention that?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay, never mind. And also, about this Holocaust, it wasn't just a genocide, but he wanted to do a complete extinction of the Jews. Like at the beginning, it slowly situations like became worse and like more tensions were created, and so like first of all, just killing people is unacceptable. Now it was just a complete extinction, so I think it was too extreme. And then this Holocaust, it was too systematic and it wasn't simple, and so it couldn't be blamed for other countries involved. And then even though maybe they were involved, the responsibility is greatest for the Nazis.
I feel like every day bad things tend to happen. Like North Korea, they try to like do missile stuff and bomb us and all that. But I feel like countries like America, like really powerful countries, if they step in like they are right now,
Yeah.
you know how like American bases are in
Yeah.
Taiwan and stuff. If they step in like that, then North Korea they have brains at least. They're
But,
not
like, I get what you mean. Like nowadays, U.S. like really tries to help other countries and their problems, but at that situation, they weren't able to help the Jews. I mean, the Jews and the situation happening because they had their own problems in their countries. So I don't think it's reasonable to blame others for not stopping the Holocaust. So
But if you think about it, like U.S. didn't really enter this whole situation until Pearl Harbor was bombed. So basically, their excuse was, "Oh, it's not our stuff. It's not our stuff." And then they came in because of that thing, only because of their reason. And I understand that's reasonable because it has to do with their country. But if they get involved in it and if they eventually are going to stop, like they eventually try to stop the Holocaust basically, but it was like way too late. So
you say that
it's an excuse. I see it as an excuse basically. And they were like one of the biggest, strongest leaders in the world, and they had the whole League of Nations, which would be like really magical and wonderful for the world, which wasn't. So I feel like sorry. I feel like it was an excuse for them to just stay and not get involved until it was actually like happening to them, which obviously I see as an excuse.
So I get what you mean, but once again, like even though they were involved, and even though they had an excuse for not able to help like right away or like stop the Holocaust, even though they might have had the time, still they weren't the ones who started the Holocaust. And when you say that you're responsible for something, responsibility really means like how much you work, like you actually did something. And during the Holocaust, really like they just how can you, and then they were just crazy, like killing so many people, and then now they felt pleasure while they were killing them. And so I don't really get how they cannot be the only ones responsible.
I also think like going back in time, sort of. You know how the UK and France and basically like the powerful countries of Europe, when Hitler started getting power and started invading Czechoslovakia and Poland, I know how they came in and tried to stop Hitler from invading Poland because that was like their last line or something, and they kind of let it slip by. You know what I mean? They
So are you saying that they were also responsible for leading to World War II?
Like if none of that kind of started, then you know how like the future things were gonna start.
Also, you say like if U.S. or the other countries were able to stop them, then this wouldn't happen.
Not exactly stop them, but at least gave them
Make
like
an attempt.
/ make Hitler realize that he's not like undefeatable.
But
He's a super
as I
ego.
said, he was psychologically unstable. So I don't think, even though the other countries were able to, were trying to make an attempt to stop him, he would have just continued his own way, because he has done that before. And before, when they made a compromise with Britain and the other countries that they wouldn't invade other countries, Germany did. So Hitler and the Nazis, they aren't unstoppable. And so,
But they only called a meeting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you just tell someone not to do something, it's not as powerful as like threatening them. It's not like in real life. You don't really threaten like people for a reason. But if they actually show it by action, not by just saying, they were just like, okay, don't do that. And he's like, oh, okay, because anyone can say they're not going to do that, but obviously they can't. And I think they should have known better when he was that fast in invading countries and that fierce. And I get that he's like mental and stuff, but mental people these days, it's like the same thing, except it's not like words, like what they want to have. Like if a mental person wants something and they can't have it, like people are not gonna let him have it. You know what I mean?
and also, I think most of the people in this world, they blame the Nazis to be for any reason. The Nazis were responsible for the Holocaust, and so even though there might be a different perspective, like we all have different perspectives, the fact that everyone knows that the Nazis were the only ones responsible, I think it's true, and people believe in it that way. So.
But that's what people believe because they're not exposed to other ideas that have factors into the whole cause of the Holocaust. It's. I mean, obviously Hitler is to blame, but he's not the only one to blame.
Yeah, but Hitler was the one who started everything, and I once again say that the one who starts everything and the one who kills 11 million people should be the only one who's responsible.
Yes, that's true. That's true because it's obviously true. But then he himself doesn't get a gun and shoot 11 people, because it's gonna take years. I'm not sure about years, but it's gonna take a long time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't him that just said kill. It was other people who agreed, helped, and compromised, and they could kill 11 million people. It wasn't just 11,000 or something. It was 11 million. And
even though some other countries took part and role for killing Jews, but it's not comparable to the number of Jews that the Nazis killed. The Nazis were killed. The number of Jews killed by the Nazis, they're incomparable to the number of Jews killed by other countries.
but it's just that everyone knew. I mean, like once all of us was
Okay.